Hey friends, this is Janie from Graham's Backyard Living. I know it's been a while since I hit you all up on what I'm doing and what's going on. It's been a busy winter and a busy spring. I'll show you a few things that I've got in the house. We'll start out, and then I want to show you what I really did in the garden. Because with this rain and everything we're getting here, I don't know if anybody else is getting it, but here in Alabama, it is awful. Day after day after day, and there's so much I need to get done out there. But for right now, let me show you what I got going on. So we're getting really good egg production. I'm getting some good eggs, and if I get disrupted, it's from the new Duke right there. He's a mess. I've got some babies. Got a couple babies in here. Got a couple down there in the bottom. So that's what I got going on for right now, and it's been babies all, and I'll show you some more of my babies. Put these eggs up because he likes eggs, so, and he can reach the top of this counter, so save him from getting a butt whooping if I leave him in the house. So if you're here in North Alabama, around the Alabama area, you know we've just been getting pounded and pounded by rain. But I'll show you what I've done this spring and stuff. More things that I cut. Got those already going. So I guess we're in full. Look at these, are the full swing of growing season. Remember, I didn't like my chickens getting up on the deck, so I acquired some more of this fencing off a marketplace, and these are my new babies. Now here it is raining on the, so these are my black copper marins, and I just named my rooster over there, my chunky butterball rooster over there is Hershey, because he's going to give me lots of Hershey chocolate eggs. And then this is a Hennifer over here, because every time I turn around she pecks me. But I halved off the yard right here. You're not supposed to be over here. Come on. I've had to bar him. Come on. I've had to bar him from the chickens because he wants to get up in their face, and he don't understand that he can't be up in animals' face. He's still in training. He's a pup. He's a hard-headed pup. But they're still in this little house right here, and I keep it covered because of the rain and stuff, and have them a little tent. So they're in and out, but mostly they're out here in this yard, and they're so good. You're looking for a docile, like, gets along with everybody. They don't mind the other chickens and stuff. So here's Hennifer with her one chick. And she's a mess. So when that chick gets a little bit older, she'll be going back in the coop. And then I have this coop here. And these poor things. This is my grow out. And she hatched one. And those are her other eggs that are in there. But she hatched out one and she left the other, so I put them in the incubator. And then I didn't really think those eggs were going to hatch. So I put them in the incubator just in case. And I was at Tractor Supply that day, and y'all know what happens when you go to Tractor Supply. So I really wanted some Easter eggers, so I got her 4. Minimum of buying is 4. Come on, Maggie. The minimum that you could buy is 4, so I got her 4 Easter eggers. I just did 2. Come on, just to give her somebody to have to raise with that little baby. Come on. And lo and behold, 4 of those eggs hatched out. So I was going to introduce them to her. I did. Well, actually, there was 5. I introduced one to her, and she ended up killing it, so I wasn't going to put any more out there. So anyway, that's the drama of that, and this is just about done me in on chicks. I'm done with chicks. Teenagers. So these are my raptors. If you ever seen Jurassic Park, and all of these, I got 7 of these. They all go together, and they have a weird sound like no other chicken has. But these are my little raptors. Here's my little raptor babies. They're under the chicken coop right now, and this is going to be a cream leg bar rooster right here. And I probably couldn't get rid of him or give him away or anything. He's got, we tried to straighten his foot out, but of course he's got the curled toes. But that doesn't slow him down. He keeps up with everybody else, just fine. And this is their little pen. I'll show you their pen. We redid this one, and I'm getting better and better at the kind of pens that I can make. And people are always wanting pens or roosts that they can work with. And this one I can work with. My husband went and got this up in Tennessee. The basic part of it is all of the base, and then it was about half this height. And I'm like, how am I supposed to get up in there? And that board was just too heavy for me to pull in and out. So we took the top off and redid it. So we put doors on the sides with little lifts. So for ventilation or, for lighting. And put the doors on the side. And then they go down into there. So we kept the bottom, and of course the bottom's solid. And it's supposed to be like a tractor, but it does not move. It didn't move before very well. And then here's their roosts that are up in there. And then their laying boxes over here. I weren't going to intend, hey babies, what are you doing? You checking out what mama's doing? I'm filming you all. But, and then I did a big window in the back. That way I can open it up and I don't have to bend over or nothing. I just scrape it all out and clean it all out right there. And it has cross ventilation. I do want a window either there or on the end, like a plexiglass window or something. So in the wintertime, which I guess they're going to stay in here in the wintertime. I tried to put them with these heifers over here. And yeah, these heifers are mean, and they don't get along with anybody, I don't think. But they're like the production chickens. I'll show you. They're all mad because of the rain and stuff. And that's my new rooster. That's Tyson. If you all remember Rudy, I don't know what happened to him. He got in a fight or something and was bleeding one day profusely and thought we got him all healed up, but he just never did recover from it. So this one, I don't know if I got him on film or not, but he was the one that the mama had one chicken that made it and was born around December. So this is my Tyson. He turned out to be a beautiful, beautiful rooster. But these little heifers right here, they're a mess. They pick on these other little chickens that I got out here. So they need to get a little bit. Now, if they're out here in the yard, they run around great together, and they do fine. But other than that, I tried to put them in here and tried to integrate them, and it just didn't work. And they're all just going to stare at me, staring at them. And then if you notice, this pin, I painted this black. This one pin right here, I painted it black. The screen versus looking in it like this. So I'm going to do the rest of it. I like that black. Look at how good that looks. Where you can see in there a lot better. But of course it's starting to rain again, and I was working out here in the garden. What I really wanted to show you was what I was coming out here just I'm fertilizing the cucumbers and stuff because the leaves are turning yellow really bad. I just think all this rain is just really, well, the cucumbers are loving it because I've cut a ton of them. And I'll show you so here's my cucumbers. They're up here. Last little bit of my lettuce. Here's my strawberries. I've got some of the strawberries here. Got some strawberries up there. Those are my potatoes that are growing really good. And here on the other side is my cucumbers. I just did a cutting of my cilantro. So I cut a bunch of my cilantro. It's starting to come back. I cut it off, most of it, cut it not way down to the ground. But now I have a second batch coming up, and I'll be able to get another cut. So what I do is your cilantro is so early and such a cool weather herb that I need it for like my salsas and stuff. So I'll cut it and put it in like serving size and bags, and then freeze them. And then that way I have all my cilantro. Now my squash, I was hoping I'd get a zucchini. I couldn't tell the difference between my zucchini and squash. But I think I got 2 zucchini plants, and then all the rest of these I'm gonna have a lot of squash. My dill, the same thing. I'm gonna harvest that, get it in serving size, get them in the freezer, so whenever I can something that needs dill. I don't know if I need any dill pickles this year, but some relishes and stuff, I'll can all that. And of course, I go overboard on tomatoes. I just did a cutting of beans, a harvesting of beans. I've got 2 quarts, and I freeze dried them. So they're in the. I'm planning on doing a lot of freeze drying this year, and the Brussels sprouts, I kind of let them go. I need to just cut them and get rid of them. But you know what? I took those leaves and cooked them up like greens, and oh my goodness, they were so good. I hope my onions are coming along really nice, getting good and big bulbs on them. I hope they do as good as my garlic. So I was over here, and all this was laying on the ground as far as so I pulled a couple of them. They looked like they were kind of trying to rot and stuff. So I went ahead and pulled them all. I'll show you too. I'll give you a clip of them cleaned up. But here's my large neck garlic. So I harvested all that today. I'm going to get them all cleaned up and put up to dry. Let me see what else. I hope I get some celery out of this. And then my peas. I'm going to let all my sugar snap peas come out, and I'm going to do a bunch of peas. I got a nasturtium right there. I can't wait to see it bloom. I've got tomatillos here on the corner. I did have some brassicas here, and I just kind of let them flower out. We're kind of done with as far as greens. I just didn't get them canned or anything. And I have peas, and then in the center, and I have tomatoes up around the edge. And of course, I have another bed of tomatoes. See, all my peas are coming in. I'll be doing peas here before long. But I plan on doing, here's another dill. And it's starting to bolt, so I need to get it cut. And then my kale, I did all my kale. I don't know if you remember, like if you saw it on the counter, but I got 2 quarts of kale. I freeze dried it, ground it up, and I'll be adding those to like my canning of my soups and stuff. You don't lose any of the nutritional value, the iron or the vitamins out of it, and then you don't even know that it's in your soups and stuff. And I need to see if I'm interested to see, this will be my first year doing that. I'm interested to see if that will kind of thicken the soup up, and that'll be a good thing to add to the heartier soups, the vegetable soups, the beef stews and stuff like that. I plan on adding those to having some of that I can sprinkle in. You can sprinkle it in anything. So anything like that you can freeze dry. But I'm freeze drying peas. I'm going to freeze dry the green beans. I'm going to freeze dry carrots. So I make, your trilogy, your onions, carrots, celery. I've got some celery freeze dried. And I hope to take all that freeze dried, and then I can add them to a soup or something. And we'll see, what it tastes like. So I'm going to show you, I came out here to my other, I see a cucumber. Come out here to my other side of my garden, my new part, and it is just exploded. Now, just to let you know that because everything is so wet and moist, I don't want, like a lot of this is starting to rot. So I made sure, like on this, the flower was rot, so I pulled the flower off of it so it doesn't continue on into the fruit. And then I've had to aerate. I aerated a lot of this and opened it up. So I did a bunch of trimming, a bunch of the tomatoes and stuff. I know people are going to tell me, oh, you're not supposed to plant cucumbers and tomatoes together. Well, I thought this bed was wide enough that that cucumbers are over, or tomatoes are over here and cucumbers are back here. Well, when it gets going, it's all one bunch. So I've got a little bit of everything in there, but I've cut a lot of it out to kind of aerate it, because see how low it is. I'll add some more soil this next year, but I don't want, because we've had so much. See, I've already got one that's rotten. I've added so much, or we've had so much rain and stuff that a lot of it's going to start rotting. So I pulled a bunch of plants out of here, sacrificed those, and because my peppers are here anyway, so I'm probably going to pull all this out and aerate it some. So, there's a cucumber there. I got cucumbers, but the cucumbers are loving this. If the plant survives, I hope they don't all start rotting out. But look at this thing is almost, look at all that in there. And I hope we get a few days of some dry weather, so this can dry out. I know in another month or so we'll go, oh God, I wish it would rain. And then look at isn't that beautiful? That's a horseradish. I just put it by itself, a horseradish there. I had some leftover tomato plants, so I threw them in grow bags right here. And then my squash and my zucchini, I thought I did 2 trays of each, and they were looking alike. So I don't know, they look alike to me. They don't look no different. But now cantaloupes and watermelons, I plant on the edge where they would trellis out, and they'll grow out here away from all of that. But just look at this. I feel like I'm in the jungle somewhere. So this plant is huge. I mean, look at my hand. I don't even know if I can. And I got the blooms are huge. I just got to keep pulling them up and getting. And then I found some onions that were all dried up and everything I forgot about them and lost them. So I just threw them out here, and of course they grew beautifully. So I need to pull all them out. But you can kind of see in there, I've cut all that out and cut all that away so I can get some air in there. If you don't, these will start rotting. And I just put a squash or a zucchini. That one's another squash. I put them in the 4 corners, and they're taking over. And then this one was going to be all tomatoes. But I stuck one of these here in the corner, and then here's a watermelon. Stuck it here in the corner, and it just took off. And look at that one. And I've already gotten some off of it, but here, my tomatoes are right here. And I trim out a bunch of that. You trim out a bunch of that underbrush is what you don't need as far as for your tomatoes or your fruits coming out, so that aerates all that in there, so I don't get no rot going on. And then there's another one, and they're just going to trellis out and give me whatever. And then I took this little fire ring that we didn't do nothing with, and I planted my green zinnias, and then threw some other seeds in there and stuff. So I got some of those going, and I ordered what did I order? Some eucalyptus. I wanted some eucalyptus so bad. I thought I could grow it, and right there where that blank spot is, for whatever reason it didn't come up. So there's a no-go on the eucalyptus, I guess. And then little grow containers. So this is I know this over here, Swiss chard, I got going there. And, oh gosh, I can't remember. What is this? Oh, rhubarb. So I got rhubarb. That's why I put that label in there. I got rhubarb going right there. And so I'll be doing, I don't know about freeze drying, but I can maybe possibly freeze dry. I'm trying to freeze dry as much stuff. I have a lot of canned stuff, so I'm trying to freeze dry as much stuff as I can, and then put it together from there. But this is basically this is my, so that's all my side yard. You know, people ask me if because I go get that, because these were all new flower beds, and I got them for $100 a piece on Marketplace. Somebody was selling them, so I went and picked those up, and then just because I needed a little bit more growing space, but I didn't realize how big they were. But anyway, we got them back here, and people ask me that it's called gin trash or gin soil or whatever. I get it from the Farmers Co-op over in Tanner. People ask me, is that like really good soil? Is that good stuff? Now let me tell you, I didn't get it fresh the year before, but this year I was there in February filling these planter boxes up, and it took me 3 truckloads to fill that one up, and then the one that the potatoes are in back here to fill that one up. And they could still use some, you know, they settled in and settled down. And I even took like all this, February, all of the leaves, all of the, everything that, we cut down a bunch of trees. I trimmed a bunch of trees up and stuff, and we trimmed some trees over here so I get a little bit more light in the garden and stuff. All of those logs, all those logs and branches and everything went into those. And then when I cleaned out my garden, I think I did a film on it. When I cleaned out my garden, I took all of the trash and everything and was putting it in that planter bed. And then whenever I took out all my deep litter, that all went in there. But still, it took me 3 truckloads to fill, and I did 2 truckloads with the black truck, which is a smaller bed, and then my husband with his F-350. I think I put some pictures online of that truck full that we filled them. Now, you could say that that's expensive or whatever, and people ask me if that's good soil, but let me tell you, I mean, you tell me. What did I put? I put some bone meal out and kind of mixed it in a little bit. Really, that's about it. I haven't done a whole lot of fertilizer. Now, I just put some blood meal down on these cucumbers and see if it's lacking, or if it's just too much rain is why all these leaves are turning yellow. But I put some blood meal out on those, a little bit of fertilizer on those. But other than that, let me tell you, that's soil. And the people next door to me, they're like, oh my God, you know, we had a few warm days. And that gin trash, I didn't get it. Like I said, I didn't get it fresh last year, but this year in February, I was there getting it fresh. I mean, it was so fresh, it was hot. It was steaming. They would pick it up with a big scooper and spreading it out and dropping it and letting it smoke. And you could see, because it was still cool in February, you could see the smoke coming off of it, and smell, oh my God, you would have thought like it was manure or something, but it's not. It's all clean, and it smells like a wet sheep or something like that. That's what it kind of smelled like to me. But yeah, you know, we're like, it's clean, it's not anything, you know. They're like, oh my God. And I was like, the smell's gonna go away before too long. I'm sure it's going to. And it really wasn't. I did because of our rabbits, we have a couple of rabbits for the fertilizer, so I cleaned out from underneath the rabbit pen and spread it out through those 3 beds up there, and just kind of topped it off and cleaned all that out, and then cleaned out what I had left on the compost bin. I was fixing to show you the compost bins out here. But really all natural fertilizer, nothing that I really went and bought a bunch of fertilizer for. But emptied these compost. Now we're starting to fill them back up. So this one's kind of cooking right here. This one's ready to go. I need to get that out and put it. I've got some holes and stuff that I want to fill up. But I've got, so I do a 2-bin system. So when this one's ready to go, we turn it and turn it when it's ready to go. And then I'm filling this one up currently. My husband just got me a battery operated lawnmower, because our big lawnmower is a mulching mower. So everything is getting mulched back in. And I said, well, I'm never going to get no greens, you know, other than the greens I pull leaves or whatever, but not very much. So we got that mower that collects the shavings, which is great because I can come out here in the yard and, you know, the native, which that's what I'm under, is a native Bradford pear, drops leaves from the time they sprout the leaves till the time fall comes. But I can go around and collect all the leaves and everything with that mower and that bagger. And then because of how the yard is, this is their side. So that's these two girls' side. And they'd much rather lay in there in the shed, but this is their side. And then the fence. And then I have it fenced off where I would let the other ones on the other side out. But I didn't have that center fence on there. I had the pool fenced off so I could let these others out. Well, these other girls don't want to be good little girls. Come on. They want to go out in the back field. They want to fly over the fence and get in my garden. And they just want to be crazy. So you know what? They're confined to their pen. And they're perfectly happy in there. And they can look, or they're confined to their run. So they stay in there. So I took the fencing down. Let me show you. I had the fencing, I had that fenced off, and I had the pool fenced off so they could have this little area. Well, it wasn't good enough for them because they would, the fencing here to the back is that little bit wider hog fence. And yeah, they would be out there in the back field out there, and oh, the babies are out. These are the two that were born, and I told my husband, they're just going to stay in there. And either they make it or they don't. I know I sound terrible. Oh, Mr. Snowboy, I know you want to kill me, don't you? Yeah, he don't like me. Mr. Snowboy, he's had to be treated a couple of times for gurgling and respiratory issues. And he would just like to rip my head off at this point. Yeah, my Snowboy, you're such a pretty boy. You're such a pretty boy. Oh. But I'm showing the babies. I don't want to look at you. Get in here. But here's the two babies, and they lived in here just fine. They kind of found their place, and then that right there is the mama, and she's an olive egger. And it looks funny, but look at the orange. I don't know if you can see them. They've got green feet. So they're light-colored birds with green feet. Snowboy, you leave me alone. But those are her babies, and they've grown up in here just fine, and they eat just fine with everybody else. And I'll show you where I had them at. Snowboy, you gonna behave? And I got two broody chickens. Let me see if they're in there. Oh, she's back in there. Girl, you're gonna get out. Yes, you're gonna get out of there. I took her egg away from her this morning. So what I'll do is I just whenever I'm feeding or whenever I'm over here, I just pull them out and drop them on the ground. And they go and eat, and they run around, and then eventually they come back. But, oh, wow, got some eggs. Okay, so what I do is I built this brooder box, and it's open, and it's wide enough to fit. I can fit the little baby chicks' feed and everything. So once they start hatching out, oh, she moved one over because I left the door open. Well, I'm going to open the other doors too. So I built one on this side for that Hennifer that's over there. but they just picked on her and her baby. So I had to take her out. You're not coming out. See, they think they're gonna come out, but I put those boards down there and gave her a space for her and her babies, and it wasn't no time at all. Them little babies were out and going and running around and running with everybody, and nobody bothered them. And I guess Mama took care of them, so they did fine in the house they're going to be raised in there. So I'm not messing with them. But I guess that's about it as far as been a busy spring, been a busy hatching season. I wanna breed. I don't really want to breed black copper marans, but they're gonna stay separately over here, and they're gonna have a separate pen made for them. But this is gonna be their area, so they're getting used to their area. No, I'm not calling you. I don't have nothing for you. This is going to be their area over here. Now, I probably have a couple of extra roosters I will be selling off, but Hershey is going to be my main rooster that I'm going to keep. So we'll see how many roosters. I might have to do the rooster guessing game with all of these, because I don't know. All of them look like I'm like, oh, they're all roosters. Oh my God, but they're not. But I got all of them from Kentucky. I got the eggs shipped to me, and I hatched them out. And if you look back on my post and look when they started hatching out and stuff, I think they're about a 5 or a 6 on the color scale. So they're really nice dark chocolate eggs, and that's what I was wanting. If you notice, I don't know if I got a picture of her, one big black copper maran that I got left, and she lays light eggs with speckles. So I'm wanting to keep these true to their color and just have the dark eggs. So they'll be living over here, and hopefully I'll be able to sell, I want to sell hatching the chocolate eggs for hatching for the black copper marans. And that's about the only ones I'm going to concentrate on maybe babies, selling chicks and the eggs and stuff, because I am so over. Right now I am so over. Let me tell you, baby chicks and trying to find places to put them. I can't put her with anybody. A farmer, this Miss Hennifer over here, a farmer, my husband went to get some worms, and he comes home with this chick, with that Buff Orpington. And he goes, look, she didn't have no other chicks that made it, that lived. And it's by itself, and it ain't going to make it. So I took it, and she was older. Look, she's in their pen picking at it. But she was a little bit older. She was where I could put her in. So I put her in this one over here with the other 2 Buff Orpingtons that I have. And she never... I don't know if you ever have a chicken that just never becomes social or finds a connection with anybody else. She fights with everybody. She doesn't get along with anybody. So I'm going to move her over here to this one, because I'm fixing to say I would like to see some chicks from her and Tyson when they mate. I mean, I think there'd be some beautiful, because he came from one of the Buff Orpingtons over here, and it had to be the olive acre rooster, but not this rooster. Or, well, probably in the genes that I had Sunshine Boy. And he looks a lot like Sunshine Boy. So that gene went over to him along with the Buff Orpington. So I'm trying to keep my line straight on who's who. But I think they would make just looking at him and looking at her, I think they would make some beautiful chicks together. And of course, for sale. I don't want to keep any more. I don't need any more. I don't have no room for any more. I just know that I have an incubator, and if I need a batch of chicks, I can hatch out a batch of chicks. Come on. I think everybody's a little bit overwhelmed right now. If you look on, before everybody was scrambling to get, like me, what was I trying to get? Oh, for Tyson, I was trying to get him a couple, and I did. I've got a couple of Easter eggers for him to grow up with. One just died here not too long ago. I don't know why she failed to thrive. She got a cough real bad. Gave her the Trigard. She did really good, and she just could not recover. I don't know. I tried and tried and tried to doctor on her and she did very well. I mean, she made it for several months, but she just was not putting on any weight or anything or thriving. So she passed away. Something probably in her liver, because I was pumping her full of vitamins. And the minute I withheld vitamins and stuff from her, she started going downhill. So she could not process or retain any kind of vitamins. So I just think that was like a liver issue. So I let her go. So the one that was raised with him is in there with him, and that's an Easter egger. And he was born, so it's December, January, February time frame. Of course, not a lot of people are hatching then, but I did find one girl not too far away from here. I drove about 30, 45 minutes to pick up pick out two chicks. But I've been searching and searching and searching, and of course, that's not really the season. So right now, I think everybody's, I'll make a good deal and take 20 or 30, and they're half the price. I think everybody just got on the bandwagon of hatching out chicks and stuff, that now they're overrun with them. But I know how they feel. I don't want any more. I'm good. I hatched out those 7, and I wanted to hatch them out from this pen over here. So it's going to be, they're going to be a cross between Olive Egger and Cream Leg Bars. And they're beautiful. They don't look like either one of those breeds, but they're just barnyard mix, and I just wanted to hatch out some, so I've got those. And then I've always wanted the black copper marins, and of course, whenever you see a post and all of a sudden somebody has what you're looking for, you go ahead and that's kind of an impulse just to get it and roll with it. So that's what I did. But this is it. My whole little half acre back here is taken up 10 times over, and I'm still one chicken coop short. So I'm going to have to get one built here before too long, because these little butterballs aren't going to live in that little house. They're not going to live in that little house for too much longer. So I'm going to have to get them moved out into something. My thoughts were I was going to move my what I call my little raptors that live in this house now. I was going to move them over there, but they don't do well with those girls. So they'll just keep that house, and then I'll do something else with them. But anyway, I just wanted to give you all a rundown. We kind of bypassed the greenhouse. At this point, the greenhouse just kind of becomes storage. I don't have a whole lot in there because it just gets too hot, and really can't grow anything in it in the summertime. So I just kind of get all of my pots cleaned up and sanitized and put in there, and then I'll put them in a hot Clorox bath, and sanitize them in the fall, early spring, to get my seeds planted and everything. Again, they'll all be sterilized and ready to go. And other than that, harvesting season is coming in, waiting on tomatoes. Once tomatoes start in, I'll start using all my herbs. Like I said, my dill, my cilantro. I'll get another batch of cilantro. I think that little bed right there yielded me 6 bags, 6-gallon bag. Of course, I've flattened them out, so a handful is like 1 cup that will go kind of by the recipes. They want 1 cup or 1 bunch of like cilantro. So I'll have that going, and I'll get another batch going. So if I can get 10, 15 bags, that'll carry me over to do all my salsas and stuff that I want to make. And then just start rolling. I did more hybrid tomatoes this year. I did some white tomatoes and some different tomatoes and stuff I wanted to try. So we'll see how those come along, and I'll hit you up on another video somewhere down the line when I start harvesting. Now I'm gonna go out there and start getting to work on cleaning up all that garlic. And then there were some onions in there too and stuff. I went ahead and pulled those because it's just too rot. Everything is just too rotting. I pulled away a lot of my soil and a lot of excess leaves and stuff away from my onions, hoping that they don't rot or start to rot or anything. But I'd like to tell the good Lord, I love this rain, but can we get a break somewhere? We need some sunshine. We need to dry out. And then also you need to look at some posts and stuff too. I know I've got these baby chicks on the ground. I've got them. I'm watching for the, for any kind of parasites. What is that? I never say it right. The big C word, that you got to treat them, the chorid. And that's a lot of that, the parasite comes from moist, wet ground, and them being on that moist, wet ground. And so I'm just going to kind of watch them and see if we have any issues with that. I'm going to go get some horse pellets and put them in that one run right there and get them down on the ground, get them up off I put some bricks in there and some wood, and of course they have that other little roost that they get up on and stuff, but get them up out of the wet, nasty mess. But just hoping for some sunshine and some drier weather, but that's not going to happen this week. So you all have a great week, and hopefully you're a little bit drier where you're at. And if you have any questions, suggestions, any information that we can share with each other. But on that soil, if anybody is here in North Alabama or on the Tennessee line somewhere there, it's the Growers Co-op in Tanner. If you need any soil, let me tell you what, and last year, if you look at some of my films for last year, it was a jungle back there, and I did very little fertilizing, had great crops, and that's just from, and I think just from whatever that is, that gin where they scrape off from the cotton, out of the cotton fields, that they call it gin trash. Wonderful, wonderful soil. $10 a truckload. And I tried to give them 20 if they do a few little scoops, and then they try and pack with a loader, and then they try and pack it down. I'm trying to give them $20 because I'm thinking they're doing 2 scoops. It's $10 a scoop. No, just $10. So I'm like, okay. So for $30, I was able to fill all of those, and should have filled them a little bit more, but 3 truckloads and shoveling dirt, my elbows were killing me. I can only do so much. But as next year goes by and stuff like that, I'll fill it some more and fill them some more till I get them filled up a little bit more. But other than that, happy growing, and hope you all have a great harvest, and we can share information if anybody else has any other information out there to share as far as in this area where to get tools. And like I said, marketplace, so for a lot of my odds and ends stuff that I get, and don't really want to buy anything from the box stores. I mean, can you imagine how many those bags are? What, maybe $20 a bag or something like that? I don't even know. I know the bales of peat moss, because I do get peat moss to lighten it up. Those are $20 a bale. So I don't know how much soil the soil bags are, but can you imagine how much that costs to fill up? The raised beds are pretty cheap. You can find them for $19.99, $29.99 or something like that when they're on sale. But can you imagine how many bags of soil that costs if you're going to buy that from the big box store? That's crazy. I could never afford that. But once I went and got that soil last year, I'm not afraid. You're afraid to put a lot of these in because of the money you got to put into them to fill them up. Well, the growers co-op people, it's like 2 mountains of 3-story high of that gin trash. Well, last year in the fall time, I went and got some more to kind of top off my beds as I was cleaning them out and stuff, and they were out. So, and there was 2 or 3 trucks. So like a month previous to that, I was there, and there was a line. There was 3 or 4 cars behind me, and he said he'll try and scrape up some, but they were mostly out. So he gave me 1 little scoop, and that's all I could get, and they were out of it. I guess landscapers, and of course normal gardeners like us and stuff. And I don't know that farmers may go. I don't know who uses this, but and of course this area is growing a lot, so if they have to have backfill or planting, making these nice big $1 million mansions around here, and putting in a lawn or something, that's what a lot of the lawn care places go and get their soil from to do these projects for people's houses and stuff. So, but if you could ever try it, it's great soil and cheap. Cheap is the way to go these days. So you all have a great summer. I'll try and get back to you a little bit later on when we start putting our meals together and doing some more harvesting, canning, and I'll let you know. I'll keep you up on the freeze-dried adventure. I'd like to do as much freeze-dried. I was even talking about doing some cucumber. If anybody's done any cucumber freeze-drying and just eat them like chips, I was thinking those would be good. Somebody did freeze-drying green beans and seasoned them just for eating. So I'm thinking about trying cucumbers and doing a little spice on the outside of them and freeze-drying them and make them like chips. I want to try that. If anybody's done that, let me know. But anyway, I know somebody pulled in, so they all go crazy. But anyway, you all have a nice summer. Thank you for listening to me as I babbled on. And if you have any questions about anything you've seen in my video or in the yard or whatever, just let me know, and I'll try and get back with you if I have the answer. If not, like I said, I put it out there to everybody and see if anybody else has experienced that actually, because I don't like to recommend anything or suggest anything if I have not personally done it myself. So you all have a great, wonderful day and a great start to your summer. Looks like it's lightening up a little bit, so maybe I'll get some more yard work done out here. And of course, I do this garlic. I do all my garlic, and I do a lot of my cleaning and stuff, because as you can see, they're very muddy and dirty and stuff. So I'm going to cut all those and do them out here in my outside sink. So as long as the rain holds off, I can work out here in my outside sink, so I don't take any kind of mud and dirt and stuff in the house like I used to. But got my outside sink. I'm going to get all those cleaned up, chopped up, and I'll take a picture and put it on my Graham's Backyard Living on my Facebook page, or on my YouTube page is at Graham's Backyard Living. So you all have a wonderful summer, and thank you all for supporting me and watching me and following me, and we'll see you on the backside.